when we have the midpoint here, the midpoint is when you have 2 points. So we've got, if you look over here, we've got a point up here, and then we've got the point down here. And so what we're trying to actually find is the coordinates of the midpoint. So the coordinate means the x and the y value. So obviously you have these 2 points and we label them up like when we did the gradient. We call the first point x1, y1, and we call the second point x2, y2. So if I go to do this first question here, I'm going to go find, they want me to find the midpoint. So the 2 points I have is 1 and 3 and 3 and 5. So I'm going to call this x1, y1, because that's my point 1, and I'll call this x2, y2. So the formula says if I'm trying to find the midpoint, I'm going to, the way I find the x value is I do the x1, so we're looking up here. I do the x1, which is 1, plus x2, which is 3, and I divide it by 2. So this will give me the x value. And then if I'm trying to find the y value, I'm going to do y1 plus y2 and divide by 2. So if we simplify that, that would be 4 over 2, and that would be 8 over 2. And you can simplify that even further, can't you guys? So it would be 2 and 4. So really, for this first one, the midpoint, the midpoint is at 2 and 4. So these 2 dots would have been 2 dots on a graph, and you found that midpoint, and you said the x value was 2, and the y value was 4 at the midpoint. Sorry, that's what we're doing for. The distance between 2 points. So once again, we've got 2 points, so we've got a coordinate of a point. So we might get one up there, and then we've got the other one. So the distance, that when they say the distance, you're actually calculating the length of that, like the value. Like if it was a, the side of a triangle or something like that, that's what the value you're finding. So when they ask you to find the distance between 2 points, so if I do this one down here, they're giving us the 2 points. So we've got 4 and 5, 1 and 1. So I will label them up, x1, y1, x2, y2. So once again, we're still labeling like we did for midpoint and also for the gradient formula. And then we're just going to use this formula, which is the square root of, and I'm going to do this bit. So x2 for me was 1 minus x1, which is 4 squared, plus y2, which is 1 minus 5 and squared. Okay, when you have like harder numbers, you can use the calculator. In your test, we'll give you nice easy numbers like this one, which you're going to see, that you'll be able to do without a calculator. But if you are, like, as you go on in further years, and maybe some of these ones up in your chapter here, because these are the questions you're going to do, you might use your calculator for it. So let's just summarize. So if you look at this bit here, what's 1 minus 4? Just work that out separately. What's 1 minus 4?
-3.
Good, awesome. So you got -3 squared, and then what's 1 minus 5?
-4.
Good, awesome, thank you. All right, so you got to remember, when you have, even though we've got a negative, remember if we say -3 times -3, that becomes a +9, doesn't it? Yeah? So I'm going to say -3 squared is 9, and what's 4 squared? 16? Yeah. Okay, so then you can see how these numbers are pretty easy. So then if I add those two numbers, I've now got the square root of 25. And that's a nice number because, guys, what's the square root of 25? Someone answer?
5.
Yeah, 5. Good. So the distance ends up being 5. So we'd just say 5 units. If we had a graph, like maybe later on, say we were talking about practical stuff or whatever, we might say distance over time or something. We might say 5, they've gone whatever, 5 units, whatever. But at the moment, you just have to write what the distance is. So you just write the number like 5 units. Okay, so you can see they're going to do nice numbers like what you just had there. That's what you'd get on the test. If the numbers are a bit hard and you can't square them by yourself in your head or square root them, that's okay. Just do it on the calculator for today. All right.